So Sue has re-signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's a 1-year, $9 million deal, and honestly, I think it's a pretty good deal. I mean, one of the things Sue has done to get himself more money is he's constantly taken these 1-year deals, knowing that he'll get more money with his age with a 1-year deal than if he were to try to sign on for a 2-year deal. Let's just jump into the film study and talk about what he does well, and we'll start things off with this play. What's going to end up happening is that he's going up one-on-one against Carolina's right guard right here, and I want to really focus on what he does in the passing game. He is a good run stopper. Everyone on the defensive line is a good run stopper, but I think he doesn't get enough credit for what he's able to do in the passing game. I actually think that, he's still a very valuable piece. He's not just a veteran guy who's there for name recognition. He's still valuable, and you see that with him getting $9 million a year. So once this play starts, really what Sue's going to end up doing is he gets his left arm kind of on that pec area of the Carolina guard. And at this point, this doesn't seem like it's that bad of a situation for Carolina, right? I mean, Sue kind of has the inside hand placement of his arms, so all he can really do is try and overpower him. But if you look at the size difference, I mean, this just doesn't feel like this should be a guy who can just overpower a guard in this situation. You'd think that, use your speed, footwork, that's how you could get by. But even though Sue doesn't necessarily look like, especially when he's next to Vita Vea, he's not small, but he's just not like huge. He's about 300 pounds exactly, so he's about average for a player of his position, but he plays like he's 350. Watch him just be able to use this strength. Again, just incredible strength right there is really the main point I'm trying to get at. He's someone who can overpower you in a hurry, and you have to make sure that you can't do certain moves. You can't try sort of this hug move where you just don't allow him to get by you, because he will overpower you. And I think some guys don't necessarily realize that about Sue when they go against him, is just how strong he is. I also like this play. I think this is a good one where really, you talk about guys in the inside being a disruptor. Well, that's kind of what Sue is going to do here. He's going up one-on-one against that same guard, and there's also going to be a blitz. There's going to be a defensive back who's currently off screen. He's going to blitz in, so the halfback is going to read that, and he's going to try and pick it up. But watch how once this play starts, you notice that, again, Sue is able to use his strength, and the back has now been disrupted. He now was going over to try to block the defensive back, but is in a much more difficult position because he's currently getting ran into by a guard who's backpedaling at this point. Eventually, the back is going to make the block, but Sue is then freed up to be able to make the tackle on the quarterback. So Sue basically disrupted the play into himself getting a sack because the pressure forced Bridgewater to basically run right into him. So again, little stuff like that. And when you're next to Vita Vea, there's only so much disruption you really have to do. But when you have two great disruptors and two great edge rushers, I mean, that's how games like Super Bowl 55 happen, where the defensive line just completely dominates offensive lines. And, they did that a few times last season when they were all healthy. Green Bay was another one that comes to mind against a great offensive line. And I want to talk about this play, because another thing that Sue does very well is his hands. He just has really good hand placement, which is obviously super important when you are a defensive tackle. Where you can get your hands can sometimes completely make or break a play. In fact, it usually does. So watch, as you see, again, look at how Sue gets his left arm and he grabs on that right wrist of 63 right there for Atlanta. Getting that wrist, it's basically over at this point. You're not going to be able to come back from this because, as I talked about, Sue is just a really strong player. And what he can do is he can get his right arm and get that on 63's chest area, and now he can just push, and there's not really much you can do about that if you're a guard because you don't have your right hand to try and get on Sue, which is what you really would need here. And again, watch this power. I mean, he's just shoving offensive linemen at the NFL level around like they're children. It's incredible when you see someone like Sue who just has, there's NFL strength and then there's that next level. And Sue is still, even at this point, at that next level. We'll now go to this play because he can move too. He's not just a pure strength guy. That's what he does best at his age at this point, is his strength. But there's other factors to his game that really work. This one, he's going up against the left guard for the New York Giants. And watch what he's going to do here. Watch him get this sort of slight move like that and jump over and, even delivers a pretty hard hit on Daniel Jones. Some guys would have just tapped him. Sue, he had an opportunity for a hit, he took it, and that's kind of what Sue does, which is, play at the line. He doesn't cross the line too often. He hasn't crossed the line in years, but he definitely plays up to the line. There's no doubt about it. But really, I mean, just the footwork there, when you don't have that much space, you're not going to get too many opportunities, but every now and then you get enough space to make a move like that, and Sue, again, can make the most of it, and that's what makes this defensive line so scary is legitimately when they have their 4 starters, it's Jason Pierre-Paul, Shaq Barrett, Vita Vea, and Sue. You have guys coming at you from all angles. It's almost impossible. And finally, I want to talk about this play, because Todd Bowles, he loves his twist. Well, how does Sue factor into a stunt like this one, where he's going to eventually end up going to a tackle, and then you have the edge rusher run around to the inside? And the answer is actually perfectly, because he is really fast for his size. As a defensive tackle, he's someone who definitely can move. But also because watch this. So you see that Sue does kind of try to get to the, to the inside of that tackle, which means that the tackle has to now, not have great hand placement. And what have we talked about before? If you don't have great hand placement on Sue, things are going to go poorly. You need your good hand placement if you're going to have any success whatsoever. He's just too strong to not have the right hand placement. And as you see, he does get through, and he is going to end up helping actually get the sack here. So just a really good play from Sue, and that's what he's capable of doing. Is, again, I don't want to try to make it seem like his strength is all that he has, but it's certainly a big factor. He can do a lot. And, the reality is, while I do think that Tampa Bay could have maybe tried to find a cheaper option or just draft a guy, if you can keep him, because he still has a ton of value. And while you could try and draft a player, notoriously, defensive tackles take a little bit to develop. They usually don't develop right away. It usually takes them a year or two. So signing someone who is just going to be a day one starter, don't even have to worry about it. He's just a starting player, and now you can really draft really whatever you want. I mean, they don't have any need right now. The only player that they haven't re-signed is Antonio Brown, and they are still very deep at wide receiver with Scotty Miller or Tyler Johnson who can fill that role. This Tampa Bay team they really did keep everyone that they said they were going to keep so far, with the exception of one guy. And also, how about for Sue this is going to be his 11th season now, and he will have made $165 million in 11 years. That's pretty good money. He's doing a pretty good job of, figuring out ways to get the most money, definitely. So it's a good move for everyone around. Sue continues to be the best agent in football, and Tampa Bay continues to be the best team in football. Works out very well. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. What are your thoughts on this? Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.